In the realm of Zen and Buddhist thought, genuine strength stems from the ability to perceive reality without distortion. Life, in its complex design, is a mixture of authenticity and illusion. Those committed to mindfulness must navigate these contrasts, differentiating truth from falsehood and sincerity from pretense. A well-known Zen proverb tells us, "Eyes are useless if the mind is blind." This principle highlights the significance of inner perception, a trait that enables us to see beyond appearances and into the core of individuals.
As life's path unfolds, we encounter people who encourage and motivate us, as well as those who cloud our journey with deception. Recognizing such individuals requires both careful observation and a profound comprehension, a skill that can protect us from harm and lead us toward liberation. Let us embark on a narrative that unveils 7 telltale signs of insincere people, weaving philosophical wisdom into an engaging story of self-discovery. Once, there was a dedicated seeker striving for enlightenment. Her mentor often advised her to perceive not only with her eyes but with her spirit, as appearances can be misleading. One day, the mentor presented her with a simple yet challenging task: travel the world, encounter people, and discern the genuine from the fake, then return with your insights. The seeker, with respect, began her journey, her heart open but her mind watchful. The first signal: inconsistency between words and actions. Early in her journey, the seeker met a merchant who spoke passionately about generosity and virtue. He boasted about the numerous people he had helped and the support he offered to those in need. However, as she watched him, she saw his employees trembling in fear and customers disputing unfair charges. The seeker recalled her mentor's teaching: kind words may be spoken, but actions reveal the truth. She questioned the merchant, asking, "If your words are noble, why do your actions cause suffering?" The merchant stuttered, unable to justify his behavior, and the seeker left, understanding the first sign of deceit: when words and actions contradict, dishonesty is often present. The second signal: excessive flattery. In the next town, the seeker met a scholar, famous for his wisdom. He showered her with compliments, praising her intelligence and beauty. However, his admiration felt exaggerated, almost practiced. Later that evening, the scholar suggested she invest her savings in his project. It was then she realized his flattery was a calculated tactic to weaken her defenses. She remembered her mentor's lesson: beware those who praise excessively, their intentions might be concealed. She declined his offer, her awareness sharpened. The third signal: a pattern of gossip. In a small village, the seeker met a woman who appeared friendly and welcoming. However, soon the woman began sharing negative stories about others in the community, focusing on their flaws and mistakes. Initially, the seeker dismissed it as idle chatter, but as days passed, she realized the woman thrived on gossip. She remembered the Zen principle: one who speaks poorly of others diminishes their own virtue. The seeker kindly questioned the woman, asking, "If you find fault in everyone, what does it reveal about your own spirit?" The woman remained silent, unable to answer. The seeker realized that those who spread negativity often do so to hide their own inadequacies. The fourth signal: inconsistent behavior. As the seeker traveled further, she became friends with a young artist whose charm and humor captivated everyone. However, she noticed his behavior varied depending on whom he spoke with. He was kind to some, while dismissive and rude to others. She reflected on the teaching: a tree is judged by its fruit, and a person by their consistency. She asked the artist, "Why does your persona change with the audience? Is your true self uncertain?" The artist avoided her gaze, unable to acknowledge his duplicity. The seeker realized that those who wear many faces are often concealing an inner emptiness. The fifth signal, reluctance to apologize. One day, the seeker encountered a leader, admired for his authority. During a meeting, he made an error that inconvenienced many. When others pointed it out, he refused to apologize, instead blaming his subordinates. The seeker watched silently, remembering her mentor's teaching. An unwillingness to admit fault reveals a weak ego. She approached the leader, saying, "True strength lies in humility, not in denial." He ignored her words, but the seeker saw through his pretense. She learned that those who cannot acknowledge their errors often prioritize pride over truth. The sixth signal, exploiting vulnerabilities. In her travels, the seeker encountered a healer claiming to cure the ailments of both the heart and mind. People flocked to him, desperate for comfort. Yet, as she observed, she noticed his treatments were incredibly expensive, preying on the vulnerability of those who were suffering. Her mentor's teaching echoed in her mind: to exploit another's weakness is to burden your own spirit. She questioned the healer, asking, "If your gift is to heal, why do you add to their suffering?" The healer avoided her gaze, and his silence spoke volumes. The seeker left, committed to protecting her own vulnerabilities and those of others. The seventh signal, a resistance to accountability. Near the end of her journey, the seeker met a mentor who guided many disciples. While his teachings were profound, she observed his inability to accept any feedback or criticism. When others pointed out mistakes, he became defensive and dismissive. Her mentor's wisdom resonated: the wise accept correction as a gift, the foolish see it as an insult. The seeker questioned him, asking, "If you claim to guide others, why do you resist personal growth?" He scoffed, unwilling to change. The seeker realized that those who avoid accountability are often unwilling to evolve. After many months, the seeker returned to her mentor, her heart full of lessons. She shared the 7 signals, and the mentor smiled, saying, "You have not only observed others but also yourself. In recognizing the flaws of others, you have strengthened your own wisdom." The seeker understood that the journey was not merely about identifying insincere people but about nurturing discernment, compassion, and self-awareness. As the seeker sat with her mentor, she contemplated the depth of her journey. She realized that the lessons were not just about finding flaws in others but about nurturing her own growth. Each signal she had learned served as a mirror, reflecting areas where she too could grow stronger. Her mentor gently said, "The 7 signals you've discovered are not only about avoiding harm but about cultivating inner wisdom. The external journey is always an internal one." Let us reflect on each lesson and its deeper meaning. 1. Inconsistency between words and actions calls for integrity. The seeker considered the merchant whose noble words were betrayed by his actions. She understood the importance of integrity, the alignment of thought, speech, and action. The mentor explained that to recognize misalignment in others, you must first examine yourself. Are your actions consistent with your words? Integrity is the basis of trust, both with others and within yourself. The seeker pledged to live with greater mindfulness, ensuring her actions would always mirror her values. 2. Excessive flattery is the trap of the ego. The scholar's exaggerated praise had shown her the danger of falling for flattery but also made her reflect on when she might have sought validation from others. Her mentor said, "Flattery feeds the ego, but the ego is never satisfied. True self-worth comes not from the opinions of others but from the quiet confidence of a clear conscience." From that day forward, the seeker practiced humility, valuing authentic connections over empty compliments. 3. Gossip is the poison of words. The gossipy woman had shown her how words could harm and divide. The seeker began to examine her own speech, asking herself if she had ever spoken carelessly or spread negativity. The mentor reminded her, words are like seeds, what you plant in the minds of others will grow. Choose to plant kindness, understanding, and encouragement. She resolved to speak with intention, using her words to heal rather than harm, for inconsistent behavior is the need for authenticity. The artist's shifting personas had taught her the importance of being true to oneself, but it also made her ask if she was always consistent in her own actions or did she sometimes wear masks to please others. The mentor said, authenticity is not just about how others perceive you, it is about being at peace with yourself. When you are true to your nature, you need no masks. The seeker embraced her imperfections, learning to stand firm in her truth regardless of others' opinions. 5. Reluctance to apologize is the strength of humility. The leader's inability to admit fault had been a stark reminder of the importance of humility. Reflecting on herself, the seeker wondered if she had ever clung to pride when an apology was necessary. The mentor said, to apologize is not to admit weakness, but to show strength. It takes courage to face your own mistakes and wisdom to learn from them. She promised herself that she would never hesitate to admit when she was wrong, understanding that growth comes through humility. 6. Exploiting vulnerabilities is the power of compassion. The healer's exploitation of the weak had taught her to guard against taking advantage of others, but it also made her reflect on how she treated those in need. Had she ever been indifferent or unkind? The mentor explained, compassion is the highest virtue. To see another's pain and respond with kindness is the mark of a truly awakened soul. The seeker resolved to act with compassion, using her strength to uplift others rather than seek gain at their expense. 7. Resistance to accountability is the path to growth. The mentor's defensiveness had shown her the importance of being open to correction. She realized that growth required vulnerability and a willingness to learn. The mentor reminded her, the wise do not fear criticism, for they see it as an opportunity to refine themselves. Embrace feedback, for it is the chisel that shapes the stone of wisdom. She vowed to welcome accountability, seeing it as a gift rather than a threat. The ultimate teaching, awareness as liberation. The seeker finally understood that the 7 signals were not just warnings about others, but guideposts for her own evolution. By cultivating awareness, she could protect her peace while also becoming a source of light for others. The mentor concluded, the true purpose of discernment is not to separate yourself from others but to deepen your connection with truth. By recognizing insincerity, you do not judge, it is compassion that guides you to step aside from harm and, when possible, help others see their own shadows. The seeker bowed deeply, her heart filled with gratitude. She now understood that the journey of recognizing insincere people was, at its core, a journey of self-realization, a life of mindful discernment. As she continued her path, the seeker lived with eyes open, not only to the flaws of others, but to the beauty and potential within herself. She understood that while the world was filled with both sincerity and deceit, her own clarity and compassion would be her guiding light. In the end, the teachings of Zen and Buddhism had brought her not only wisdom but peace, for she had learned that ultimate protection is not vigilance alone, but a heart rooted in truth, kindness, and self-awareness. And so, she walked on, her steps steady, her eyes open, and her soul free.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next.